Faith is often described as something we hear, the sound of hymns, the voice of a priest, the whispered prayers that fill a church. But what happens when faith cannot be heard? For Fiji's Catholic deaf community, worship has long been a silent devotion, a faith seen but not fully felt. When the pandemic forced isolation, it also forced innovation, and that reshaped inclusion. For years, Fiji's Catholic deaf community worshipped in silence. They watched, they prayed, but the words of the priest, the rhythm of the homily, remained beyond their reach. This is the story of how global crisis opened a new doorway of faith, one where people began hearing with hands. In 2020, as COVID-19 closed churches across Fiji and masses moved online, most parishioners adapted easily. For most parishioners, this shift was seamless. But for deaf Catholics, the silence deepened. Then, in that time of distance, deep in the misty hills of Wailoku, came a moment of vision.
I can still remember that day when we were having dinner in our dining room. And our formate back then, he passed away, the late Reverend Father Joseph Tumavule. So one of the deaf asked something, and the question that he asked, what about us? Because the other, the online masses, so the churches are closed. So they asked, what about us? And that's how it all started, with that question, what about us?
I received a call from Father Joe Tumavule, who was an Venetian priest. He was calling, requesting if I could live stream a mass on Sunday dedicated to inclusive community or deaf mass. I had no idea of what is it about, but I said yes, since I've been doing live stream for the past 5 years, particularly focusing on the celebration of the Eucharistic Mass.
In Fiji, there are an estimated 3,500 to 5,000 people who are deaf or hard of hearing. For many, church was one of the last public spaces to become accessible. Now this collaboration between Paseka and the Catholic Church stands as a model, showing how accessibility can thrive not just in crisis, but in everyday life. And for interpreters like Aurelia, every movement of their hands carries a message of belonging. Their work breaches the sacred and the silence.
For the deaf community, interpreters are present in the classrooms. They're present in a lot of spaces, but the church. It's your morals, it's your understanding of your attitude. It grows from the church. When you come to Mass, it's about the heart, it's about service, it's about children learning to be themselves, to understand God through deaf language, through sign language, to pray. You have the right to pray. And you pray in your own language. And it's okay. And that's what we teach. That's what we are breaches of. We breach communication from the priest, from the people, to the deaf community. Then in return, only then, we are equitable, we are equal with others, because we are including the deaf and we understand the mode or the way they communicate. And it's very important, because if we are including the deaf without the proper bridge or without interpreters, then we're depriving them of what really life is about.
But inclusion remains uneven. While Catholic masses are now interpreted, many public events, schools, and government services remain silent for the deaf. The success of this project raises a larger question. If faith can become inclusive, why can't everything else?
The challenge is for me when I try to explain whatever I need or I want from them and they can't understand me, and it's like it really hurts me, because for us hearing, when you want anything we ask, we call our parents, but for them it's just like they sit there and then watch what we're saying is truly pleading. So I'm so happy that I'm there to help them, just to be as a normal child. Same with us.
For deaf parishioners, Mass is no longer a silent ritual observed from the sidelines. It's a moment of connection, a rhythm of signs, movement, and meaning. Now, these broadcasts are reaching beyond Fiji's shores, inspiring Catholic communities across the Pacific. It's made a big impact for people like Arbenisa.
I wasn't really happy about the fact that there wasn't an interpreter in the church. Here there's interpreters, and that makes me feel very happy. When the priest speaks, I am able to understand and I feel included, and it's very joyful. Before, when there's no interpreter in church, when the priest is speaking or when there's a person up there reading, I couldn't understand anything. So I'll just be sitting there and people go up, read, go up, other people go up and read. But now that there's an interpreter, I'm able to understand everything and I feel more connected with the church.
We came to know about the interpreted Mass last 2 years. And apart from that, her experience in church, she was just lost. She doesn't know what's going on. Sometimes she'll be asking me what's going on. I just can't explain, like she's left out. So at that time, I don't view it just like that, I just, it's just something I have to, we just have to live with and get by with. And but deep in my heart, I knew that something is missing. Like I'm always be searching, yes, I'm always be searching.
I will tell you a story about a deaf person who was, from his childhood days, he grew up with his grandfather. And his grandfather used to take him to church. And I tell this story all the time. So they'd go to church and this deaf child knelt down, would take the water and make the sign of the cross. And when in church, he would kneel down, he would follow his grandfather, and he'd do this, and the priest would bless him. And then later on, from a child, grew up in the Catholic Church, and after, I think in his late 30s, he was 30, he came to me and asked, he came to us and asked, what is the priest saying when he lifts the cup or when he puts up the Eucharist? What is he saying? So you can imagine, for all the years he's been growing up, he's been following without any information. But because he saw his dedicated grandfather, he decided to follow. So then he started going into churches that had interpreters so that he could receive the information. But he's always had that one question. When he went to the Catholic Church, what was the priest saying? So when he asked, and that was one of the reasons that we do what we do. So we are able, and he was over 30, from his childhood days, all that time, without information, very deprived.
We came here to drop her off for her to go for communion class, and that was the day I will always remember, because and then Mary asked me, can you guys just take all the children to go and for that Mass, so that after that they can have their Holy Communion lessons. So we took them, including my daughter, including Elena. We took them to Wailoko. And that's when I saw that thing, the interpreted Mass. And I said, this is it. This is where we're gonna be from now on. And we've been there ever since. Yes. And I said, okay, cross off one of my, one of my thing in my heart, yeah, this is it. This is something that I want for her.
For families, this change was transformative. Children who once sat quietly now sign their prayers with confidence. Parents speak of a joy, seeing their children connect with God not through sound but through expression.
I have to learn to know her language because she's getting older, and very soon now she's just turned 13 in April, and my sign language cannot be still on the basics. It has to go deep because I have to give her advices. I have to, my advice has to go deep. I have to know a lot more sign so that she will get more understanding. And in order for me to get close to my daughter, I have to learn sign language in order for me to communicate better. So that's one challenge I found out, the communication. When I wasn't learning sign language, I just learned the basics. I just know the basics. She wasn't close to me, I like with. And then when I started learning sign language, okay, and then she's okay. Mom is understanding me better, and she became close. I found out that we became close. Yes, Mere. Ya, tuvo. Mere and tuvo.
From the quiet of the pandemic came a new voice, one spoken through hands and faith. Through Father Joe's vision and Paseka's work, the deaf community found not just worship, but inclusion. For children like Elena, this is more than a new way to worship. It is a new way to belong. For now, this lasting change from COVID-19 is a step in the right direction. Faith, once distant, now lives in motion, spoken in the language of the hands.